dwindling the resources and tectonic instability have forced humanity to sleep in the year 2189, way far from now. So you are good, at least for this semester. Earth has become uninhabitable due to centuries of environmental neglect and escalating global conflict. That's what we're doing right now. After decades of preparation and colossal migration effort called Exodus, a fleet of generation ships has begun launching from Earth, carrying the last remnant of humanity toward a distant Earth-like planet called Nova Gaia. Each ship must function as a self-contained society equipped with only essential data, limited supplies, and artificial intelligence system to guide their journey and restore the civilization upon arrival. Throughout the semester, you are asked with writing the computational systems to power these colony ships and prepare for humanity's survival and governance on Nova Gaia. Each coding project corresponds to one critical subsystem on board the ship. Here, the project. The first one, you need to solve the resource allocation things. Since we're human again, we need to allocate the resources, wherever we're going. Even if we're going a different planet, there should be a clash of resource allocation. So the first problem is resource allocation. We need to solve this problem. The resource allocation system, which is like ARC9 dispenser protocol, then we may have some language. We need to decode those language. This is the lost language decoder, which is called like lexicon rebuilder 7x. Then we need to control our population growth. We need to simulate those population growth through the NOVA viability estimator. Then finally, we have some archive there. We need to reconstruct those archives, which is like archive reconstruction system, lower vault recompiler. And finally, we may need to walk in the space. So we need to simulate the Pathfinder tracker through the spacewalk simulation. So those are the 5 projects that you need to finish throughout the semester. Most of the projects are separated by 2 to 3 weeks. So you have 2 to 3 weeks to work on those things. You need to check the calendar when they are done. Probably they are apart from 2 weeks, mostly. Some of them are 3 weeks, which are the bigger one. Okay. Any question? Okay. Who haven't read the project one yet? No one? Can't pick anyone to read then. Okay. Starting from you.
So you want me to read
from the here? Yeah.
Read all instructions carefully. Not following instructions will result in you not being the story you want on the system.
Yeah.
In completing this project, you will learn the following. Use basic statements, expressions, and basic data types int, float, string in a program. Convert strings to integers or floats and use these values in calculations. Read keyboard inputs from the user and use it in a program. Print formatted output using F strings, ensuring correct rounding and precision. Should I keep going?
Wait a minute. So after completing this project, you will learn those things. Basic statements and expression, which I haven't covered yet. Next week, I'll be covering those things. Basic data type, I just have covered integer, float, and string. So depending on the situation, you need to check the type of those data that you are going to use. It could be either integer, either float, or string in this program. Conversion of strings to integer or float or vice versa. I already have told you what are the conversion function. Like int is for converting anything to integer, which is convertible. String str is like converting anything to string. Float is converting anything to float, which is conversible. Read keyboard input from the user. That's what I've told. Input function. Use it in a program. Print the formatted output using F string. I haven't covered it yet. Next week, I'll be covering those things as well, how you can round it and write the precision. So those are how you can format your output. Print is like printing, and formatting printing is like using some specific way to print those values. Like, sorry, 10.5 and 10.50 are not the same, or 10.500 are not the same, right? But they are the same actually, 10.5. But whenever you are writing the formatting things, we'll be using those things using the F string. Okay, I'll be discussing those things in next class. Okay, now project description. Yeah, you can do it.
ARC-9 is the autonomous redistribution console aboard the Nova Exodus fleet, a massive armada of ships fleeing a dying Earth. With finite food, fuel, and supplies, fair and strategic allocation of resources is essential to prevent unrest during the multi-decade journey to the new home planet, Nova Gaia. As part of this system, crew members receive a small personal share during shore leave, the pre-allocation process. Following this, ARC-9 takes over the redistribution process, ensuring that all resources are divided fairly, though some elite officers are secretly prioritized.
Fairly.
Here's how the process works. Crew members, except Mira and Tav, since they are too generous, receive 3 units for shore leave.
Okay, so that means we are now in the state of instruction. There are a lot of instruction you will see here. We need to find out what instruction is needed to generate the algorithm. This is the very first instruction. Before that, we don't have too much instruction, right? Those are like generic things. But now we are diving to the project itself. The crew members, except Mira and Tav, they receive 3 units for the shore leave. Then, good.
Mira, the high-ranking captain, receives 13% of the remaining supply.
Other information.
Hove, her second in command, then receives 11% of what remains after Mira's share.
Okay.
The rest is evenly split among the remaining passengers, including Mira and Tav.
So the rest means like including Mira and Tav. If there are like 10, initially Mira will take, like Mira and Tav are not taking anything. 8 of them will take 3 units. Then what are the leftover? Mira will take 13%. Then what are the leftover? Tav will take 11%. And then what are the rest will evenly split. Evenly split means like including Tav and Mira, like all 10. And then, go ahead.
The civilians do not know that Mira and Tav secretly received larger shares beforehand. Your task is to build a program that mimics this resource allocation process, helping to ensure a smooth, fair, and transparent redistribution system for the fleet. Your program must ask the user to input the total number of citizens aboard the fleet, including Mira and Tav, and the total amount of resources available in units. Then calculate and display Mira's share rounded to 2 decimal places, Tav's share rounded to 2 decimal places, and the crew's share per citizen rounded to 2 decimal places.
So those are the input and those are the output, right? That means what? So what are the input? Total number of citizens and total number of resource. With those 2 inputs, what we would like to do, we would like to calculate those things like an output. How? For this process, right? Yes.
Do we need to have a case where they put in less than 2 because that doesn't include
That's the important things. But for this project, I'm not expecting you to write those things. But if you can write those things, that'd be great. That is like an extra checking. But given that, our unit is enough to give all of those crew members. That is great. You can add it to your program as well as an extra thing. So whenever you are solving any problem, any project, make sure you understand the problem, right? That's what I have mentioned here. You need to understand it first, then design, right? So what is the understanding here? The understanding is these are the key program requirement or rubric for this project. You need to understand those things very, very carefully. If you understand it carefully, only then you can dive into the design part, right? So what are the requirement? Requirement is result of various amount to be calculated are correct to 2 decimal places. The program works correctly for different numbers of crew and number, not just the example run. I have given an example run, but make sure your program can run with some other numbers. Like I ask you to write a calculator and given you like, well, your calculator can add 2 numbers, 10 and 20 is 30. If your calculator is only giving 30 all the time, I would not like to buy it, right? It can work for other numbers as well. That's what I've mentioned here. It should be working with different numbers, except the example run. Input prompt, which is shown in the example run exactly how many citizens. That should be the exact prompt on your input. How many citizens with column. Same thing for the output string. For each amount, match the output shown in the example run exactly. Mira share, Mira apostrophe S, share. Then top share, cruise share. Here, Mira is starting with capital later. Top start with uppercase, cruise start with uppercase. Just match exactly those formatting. This is the requirement. So if I'm asking you to do a project and if I'm giving you money, definitely I'm asking you the same thing, right? I'm expecting you to produce me the exact same thing. Values are rounded to 2 decimal places. All variable names and code follow Python snake case or camel case. That's what I've mentioned. You could either use snake case or camel case. Pay attention to white space, punctuation, and wording in your prompt and output. This is like low stake things. F string should be used for unit to be formatted 2 decimal places for the display. So those are the required things. So if I go to the project specification, these are the required things that you need to know from the reading material. What is the statement? What is the expression? What are the data types? How you can convert vice versa? How you can get the user's input or from the keyboard? How you can print to the console? You already have learned print. Then snake case, camel case, F string, and 2 decimal points. How you can round it to 2 decimal points. So I already have covered most of those, not the statement and expression and the F string things. I'll discuss those things in the next class, but I haven't given the requirement here. I need to put those information in the slide. So those are the requirement. Those are like your contract. If I'm giving you money, 35 grand, then definitely you need to follow this instruction. In case of 35 grand is like 35 points here. Right? Do you have any question about the project description? No? All of you have understood the project description? Question? Okay, that means solving the project. You are on the second part. You understand everything, right? Now you need to design it. How you can design it? What are the steps? What are the worksheet of design? These are the worksheet. You need to know what are the inputs, what are the outputs. What are the inputs here?
Civilians and
Those are the inputs, right? What are the outputs? These. And then the steps. You need to write down those steps. But I'll be discussing those things in the next class. Expecting any question if you have any. Any question? No? Okay. And as I have told you, that if you haven't submitted your lab